After years of overlanding and camping in my Jeep, there are 5 upgrades that totally change the way I camp. Not just cool gear, but things that actually made life easier, more comfortable, and honestly, I wonder why I didn't get them earlier. If you're building your rig, these items may save you money, time, and frustration. So let's get into it. The first item I want to talk about is a 12-volt fridge. Most people will use a cooler with ice, and let me tell you, I always thought I wouldn't need a fridge. You check it out. Let me get myself a little. And this one actually has a freezer, so it's got a real small freezer, and you can make this the freezer, this the fridge, or both, either one. Let's grab ourselves a little beverage out of there. And then I also got it with this upgrade. It definitely helps in the summer months to keep it insulated, and it also keeps all the dirt off it when you're in the trails. So yeah, cheers. But I always thought I wouldn't need one, because I figured, you know what, I'll just get a cooler with ice. But when you're off grid for a couple of days, ice is a real pain to find, and then you've got ice sloshing around all over the place. Actually, the first few trips I did go on with the refrigerator, I did take a cooler with ice, and I stored drinks and water and stuff like that in it. But I've since got rid of that completely. The last couple of trips I didn't take it at all, and I didn't miss it at all. Didn't need it. All it did was take up a lot of extra room that I used for other stuff. So my advice, especially if you're on a multi-day trip, this is really not even a negotiable. This is an essential. Once you have one of these, you'll never want to go back to a regular cooler with ice. What I'll do is I'll drop a link for this specific one in the description below. You can check it out. There's a lot of options out there. This is the one that suited me best. I usually travel by myself, so I don't need a massive fridge. This is, I think, a 37 quart, which is perfect for me, and I can get probably a good week's food in here for myself, maybe even more, including some milk and drinks and eggs and whatever I need. So it has definitely worked out great for me. So that's the first item that I feel is really an essential. The next item, which is also an essential in my eyes, is a diesel heater. I like to go camping in the cold, and sure, you can have a big sleeping bag. Like the first trip I did in the cold without a diesel heater, it was in the low 30s, and I got a sleeping bag that more than handles that. And I found that I had to wear a freaking beanie because my head was so cold in the middle of the night. And then the other problem that is the worst part of the whole thing is when you sleep in a colder climate, you get crazy condensation in the tent. There's no way to get around it unless you're pumping dry air into it. So with the diesel heater, I get zero. Thanks, buddy. With the diesel heater, I get no condensation at all in the tent. So just that is worthwhile. So I'll sometimes, even when I don't need it, I'll run it for a couple of hours just to clear the condensation out in the mornings. And definitely would not leave home without a diesel heater. There are other options, like you can get propane heaters and stuff. Problem with the propane heaters, the heat is not wet, it's still wet, so you don't alleviate the condensation unless you have like a Truma does one, which works similar to a diesel heater. It has a heat exchanger in there, and it blows the dry air over the heat exchanger and that actually will give you dry heat. That's why those work really well. I don't know if you can even hear that. So that's the heater running. It's so quiet. A lot of people say that diesel heaters are really noisy. I mean, you can't even hear that in the tent. There's no way. But that's running now. Yep, that fired up quickly, ran. It's running beautifully. Yep, we get hot air coming out of there already. Unbelievable. So that's the LF Bros Plateau. Running. I don't even know if you can hear it on here. And that's running now at full pace. All right, so that's the second item that I would not leave without. Third item is a power station. This is what I've been using for the last year and a half. It's just this little Jackery, and it does great. It will run my I have separate batteries for the fridge, which I got 2 batteries. One battery will run it for a full day. This runs my diesel heater it'll run it all night, no problem. Now, I have just upgraded to a Bluetti system. So this is a 500 watt hour Jackery. This is a 2000 watt hour. So 4 times the power. And this takes forever to charge. That was the issue. So now if I'm off grid for more, like the last trip, I was off grid for 3 days. 2 out of those 3 days, I had to find a place to go and sit for 2-3 hours to plug this in, to pump, to get enough power in it to run this for the night. This with the Charge 2, I got this Charge 2. I'm going to have this all hooked up in the Jeep. With this, my alternator will charge this within 2 hours while I'm driving. And if I'm overlanding and going, and I can use a solar panel to charge this as well. So I'm going to probably get a inexpensive 200 watt solar panel that I can put out there if I'm going to be in the same campsite for multiple days, which I like to keep on the move. And if I'm driving, this will charge up and I'll be fine. And really, with this amount of power, I can run everything that I have for at least a couple of days without an issue, without charging. So power station, absolutely essential. I won't leave home without it. And stay tuned for the come back and check out this. I'm going to leave links to all of this stuff. I'll leave links for the Jackery, this one that I've been using, because I'm still going to take this with me. It's a great little tool. I'll leave a link for the to Bluetti, and then this one is the LF Bros, and it I've got a controller that I can put in the tent. It tells me the temperature. Works great. So that's why I chose this particular one. There are less expensive ones. I'll leave a link to both. You can make a decision as to whatever. But there's a ton out there on the market. There's some from very inexpensive to $1,500 for this one I think is about $350, which is reasonable for what you're getting. A lot of cheaper ones, the caps leak from what I'm told. This one I've not had a problem with. All right, so there's 3. Item number 4 is the awning. On a hot day like today, I got some beautiful shade to sit under. When it's pouring with rain, I got shelter. This is one of honestly the best things that I've had, and you'll see if you want to go back. I just did a full review on this particular awning after a year of use, and this is very inexpensive, this awning. It's $500. And I'll leave a link to Top Oak. You can go check it out yourself, see what you think. And then, I'm not going to go too in depth on the awning. I mean, it's a shady spot, and there's a ton of awnings on the market. Some, I've experienced with this particular one. It has been great, but there's a ton out there. But like I said, I'll leave you a link to Top Oak so you can go check out them. They often have some specials on. Earlier in the year, they had, I think, They had this awning for like $450 or something like that. And then the fifth and final item is my rooftop tent, and I'll add some video here of me setting it up and what have you. I just did a full review on this tent as well. This is the Top Oak Vision L, and the reason why I chose this particular tent is if you look at it, it fits perfectly with my rack setup and everything. That's why I chose this one. But the reason why I chose a rooftop tent and not a ground tent, I personally do not like sleeping on the ground. I don't know, I just feel safer up in the air in a tent, for me personally. And then you also have, you're away from water if and it's happened to me before with the ground tent. Many years ago when I lived in South Africa, I went camping with a friend. We had a ground tent. We set it up. It was a beautiful day when we got there. It set up. It poured with rain in the evening. Apparently where we set it up, there was a puddle. So we had to wake up in the middle of the night. Everything was soaking wet. We packed everything up, moved it to a different spot, tried to dry it out. It was miserable. So ever since then, I've tried not to use ground tents when I can help it. So rooftop tent for me is an essential. I will not go camping in a ground tent. I just won't do it. And if you watched my previous video, you'll see I'm about to change my setup a little bit. It's going to be a few months before I do it, but definitely keep watching. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you can stay abreast of what is happening with the rig. I'm going to do a little honorable mention here, because without this, I wouldn't have even done everything I have done in the last 2 years, which is my Gladiator. I absolutely love this thing, and I don't see me ever getting rid of it. But this Jeep has taken me some cool, amazing, beautiful places. Yeah, just like in these pictures I'm putting on now. I really hope you do enjoy these adventures with me, and I'm going to leave some links below for everything, that specific items that I have used and have spoken about in this video. I would appreciate it if you would like and subscribe and hit that notification bell for future videos, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Have a great day. Cheers.